What's going on, guys and girls? Welcome back to the Falcon FX YouTube channel. Hope you're all doing very well. So in this episode, we're going to be talking about perfectionism and procrastination. This is one of the leading things that holds so many traders back. I'm going to be talking about it, more of a freestyle overview here, giving you something to think about that you might be falling into. And if you're falling into this trap of perfectionism, you might be hiding it with things that you don't even realizing. So I'm hoping what this episode does is it gives you something to think about, some more awareness that you can realize, right, am I being a perfectionist? Because it holds so many traders back. So let's get into it. But before we do that, make sure that you like, comment, subscribe, make sure that you're sharing these videos, you're tuned into the channel, and we're really excited for everything to come. So let's get into this episode. Right, so perfectionism. Where does perfectionism come from? Is it perfectionism or is it procrastination? Well, sometimes we don't realize. We deceive ourselves without even understanding that. I can often think about it, and I've done this many of times, when it comes to things like the gym, right? Whenever I want to get into the mode, I start to make excuses, right? Oh, I haven't got my BCAAs, I haven't got my pre-workout, or I need to order that. So then I convince myself that, you know, the session's not going to be as good because I don't have my typical pre-workout, etc., and the list goes on. When the reality is sometimes you just need to get in the zone. You just need to get into the flow. You need to do what you need to do to get there. And once you start getting in there, you realize, right, had a good session anyway, and I was just making excuses. This happens a lot in trading as well. It happens to even artists, for example. How many of you right now that will maybe have a business idea that you want to roll out, and then you'll start saying things like, yeah, I would do this, but I'm just a bit of a perfectionist. Really, that's a deep insecurity. You're masking it, you're hiding it. What you're really saying to people that know is that you're not confident in your idea. That's all it is. It's not that you're a perfectionist, because we know that nothing comes out fully formed. No idea, no business idea, no nothing, no trading plan, nothing comes out perfect. Nothing is perfect. Even the markets itself, it's a very imperfect market. So if you try to put across this perfectionist mindset to an imperfect market, it just doesn't go hand in hand. It won't resonate, it won't vibrate. So if your perfectionist mindset is there, it's always going to hold you back. So don't allow yourself as almost an excuse blanket to cover that insecurity by saying, I'm just a bit of a perfectionist. What you're really saying is that I don't back myself, don't fully understand it. You may not have done the work, and that's okay. But you have to be open-minded and self-aware enough to be able to say, do you know what? I'm using this perfectionist thing as an excuse. What you're really doing is that you're procrastinating on the work that you need to do to not feel that perfectionist mindset. You're not a perfectionist. Most people are not perfectionists. They think they are, but really it's just an insecurity. So I want you to think about that at the core level, because that could be the thing that's actually holding you back to do the work. And we have this in so many areas. We want everything to be perfect. We want the stars to align. We want all the dots to connect straight away, and then we'll do it. Then it will be perfect. You know, that's like saying, right, once I've got £10,000, then I'll start investing my money. Well, why not earlier? You know, once I've got a six-pack, then I'll start eating healthy. Well, that doesn't work, does it? You know, you have to do the first thing first. So it's about understanding that don't use these things to wait for things to be perfect, because very rarely they are. You know, environment's not perfect. Even things like what we're filming right now. You know, we might have one of the lights might turn off, for example. Nothing's perfect. It's not about that. It's about doing what you need to do when you need to do it to get it done. So just start to think about what areas of your life right now, more specifically trading, are you procrastinating on, that you think that you're hiding it and masking it with things like, I'm being a perfectionist. This is one of the things that people make a lot of mistakes trading wise. I'll give you another little tip here, which is really important. And it comes from a bit of a story. So there were some traders that I was speaking to very many years ago, and what they would do is they would consistently take bad trades, and they would show me and say, right, oh, I took this bad trade. And what I started to notice is their verbiage, the words that they would say. And after every bad trade that they would take, they would say, oh, that's fine, I made a mistake, I'll put that in the ASR. And that almost became an excuse blanket. And ASR, for those of you that don't know, is advanced self-review. So what they was doing is that they was giving themselves reasons and justifications to keep making the same mistake and go, right, well, that doesn't matter because I know I made the same mistake. I know it wasn't a trade, but it's fine. I'll just ASR it. So the ASR is almost the feel-good factor, that you're aware of it. You're aware that you keep making these mistakes. Now you're comfortable making these mistakes and you'll keep repeating them, but you don't actually want to do something practical about it. You don't want to do the work, which is you're procrastinating again. Because when you actually get stuff done, you realize, right, I made this mistake. Why did I make this mistake? Right, I made it again. Okay, so why did I make that mistake again? Is there something I just don't know? Is there something I'm unsure of? Is there something do I need to double down on my management? Do I need to double down on my execution? Is there a process that I'm not following in my plan? Am I just working from my subconscious? Am I just working from my mind and thinking that I'm actually trading my plan, but in the reality, I'm actually quite far off from my plan? It just looks very similar. Most people don't realize that as well until they ASR. So what can you then do to preempt that? Well, then you can have a pre-trading checklist. You can make sure that you're doing everything to the best of your ability, not perfectly, but to the best of your ability to take trades that fit your plan. There might be slight discrepancies, but generally speaking, they're not going to affect your results that much. I mean, if you stick to your plan over 90% of the time, you're probably going to get good results. Now, there's things like odds and stuff like that. You can go on losing streaks. That happens to the best of traders. But overall, if you're going to play the long game over 12 months, if you stick to your plan over 90% of the time, even 80% of the time, you're probably going to be doing very well. Think about it statistically, and I'm just going from odds. You take 1,000 traders and you give them every bit of information that they need at their fingertips. That it covers everything. It teaches you about the DXY, it teaches you about gold, it teaches you about silver, copper, soybean, every commodity, every instrument you can imagine, the way that the order flow works, you know how the money works, you know where the banks invest, you know everything, you know every bit of information. What do you become? You become a more knowledgeable trader. But do you become a more successful trader? No, because if you take 1,000 people that have all of that information at their fingertips and you understand it and you have it in your mind, you are over 90% likely, I can almost guarantee it, that you will make bad trading decisions. Why? Because you've got so much influence. It's not normal to have so much information that correlates and goes, well, this affects that, that affects this, so then I'll do this. Because then you'll find something, you'll be a perfectionist, you'll find something that doesn't really line up because you're looking for this perfect flow of things. But we're dealing with probabilities, guys and girls. It doesn't work like that. It's not about perfect sequences. It's about odds. It's about finding setups, finding an edge in the market, and realizing that if you stick to risk, more often than not, if you stick to your plan and you have a system and a formula, you will do well if you stick to that. It's not about having more knowledge. It's difficult, right? Because in different industries, the more knowledge you have is good. You know, if you're a doctor and you're not very knowledgeable, they would probably be quite worried. But if you're a surgeon, I expect you to be quite knowledgeable in your field. But we're dealing with odds, guys and girls. It's a very, very different field. You're dealing with learning how to think in a probabilistic mindset, learning how to think in probabilities, which is why I recommend so much Trading in the Zone. We know it's a great book. There's lots of trading psychology books that are incredible. Thinking in probabilities, give chapter 7 a read. Just really go through it. The more you learn to think in probabilities, it's going to help you out more. The point I'm making is this. It's not a natural thing to just think in probabilities. That takes time to learn within itself. But at the core of all of this, don't allow yourself to just use, I'm a perfectionist, that's going to stand in your way. Don't allow yourself to do that. Demand more from yourself that you can say, hold on a minute, am I being a perfectionist or am I actually just uncertain because I don't understand it yet? And if I don't understand it yet, why don't I understand it? Well, how many hours have you been? How long have you been trading? How long have you been learning a particular strategy? Have you really put the work in? You know, so you see when you start asking these really honest questions, what usually comes to the surface is that I've not put in the work and I'm trying to do these things to make me feel good in the moment. But the reality is I've not consciously made a decision that I'm making this happen. Okay, so what are you going to do about it? Right, I'm going to do X, Y, and Z every day. I'm going to show up every day. I'm going to do a weekly ASR. I'm going to jump on an accountability call every 2 weeks with this person that's on the same wave. See what I mean? It's very simple. Success is very simple. What do you think is one of the biggest reasons that hold people back in trading? Patience, lack of patience. Most traders could have become more successful if they had a little bit more patience. Why? Why were they impatient? Well, I don't know the answer to all of that. You know, this is going to be psychological blockages. For all I know, you set this deadline in your head that you wanted to be a consistently profitable trader, trading £500,000 within 12 months. You set that deadline deep into your subconscious, 12 months went by, you was very close to breaking through, and then you feel like, it's just not happened for me. So then you go into a blame mode, and then you start to sabotage yourself. Like, no one put that there but you. You put that unrealistic timeline in your head for that to happen. But if we shift that to be more open-minded and more honest about our journey, we can say things like, right, I'm willing to make this happen. Don't care whether it takes me 2 years, 3 years, or 5 years. I can't control when exactly it's going to happen. But what I can control is the daily work that I do every single day, the people that I associate with, the goals that I set myself. I can measure all those things, but I can't pluck out a date out of thin air that this has to happen here. And then you're going to tie emotions towards that of your self-worth, which has no reflection of you whatsoever. No one looks back at their failures and all the hardship and gets upset about it. You just understand, right, I'm glad I'm one of the rare small percentage of people that have the backbone to keep persisting when times are tough. I knew that I wanted to be a successful trader, not because of all the monetary gain. I knew that was a side effect. I didn't know how much I would trade. Like, I knew that was there. I was fully aware of that. I'm not naive. People get into trading to make money. It's that simple. However, at the core of all of that, it was for the freedom. It wasn't for anything else. I didn't want it because I wanted to show off. I didn't want it because I wanted to just buy all these different things. I wanted to have a good life, don't get me wrong, but at the core of that first, I knew I wanted my freedom. I wanted to be able to do what I want, when I want, with whoever I want, where I want. I wanted to be able to decide to book a plane ticket, and if I want to go to Australia for 3 weeks, I can. If I want to go to America for 2 weeks, I can. And I can come back. I can then go around Europe. I can help my family. I can do what I want when I want, you know? So for me, it was about, right, well, I don't care whether it takes me another year. You know, even being 2 years in, it's quite disheartening. I get it, I understand. And now more than ever, when you're seeing prop firms prop up left, right, and center, you're seeing people, 10K withdrawal. You're seeing social media at an all-time high. There's all these highlight things in front of your face that you don't realize, that you start comparing yourself, and then you start to sabotage even more. So just understand that you have all these distractions, and you need to drown all of that out and focus on you. Whether it takes you another year, 6 months, 12 months, 18 months, it doesn't matter. You're not gonna look back and be angry at that, but you will be angry if you keep taking the short route and then go around in circles. That I can promise you that. You'll live in regret there, that you wasted so much time when you could just stop procrastinating, stop using this blanket statement that you're a perfectionist, get to the root of the psychology, of the root of what is holding you back mentally. And once you get through that blockage, your technicals will match up with your mindset. And as your mindset scales, your account will scale with that, and they will work in congruency with each other. So I hope this gives you something to think about, guys and girls. Hope you enjoy your weekend, that you've enjoyed these kind of deeper psychological episodes, as I do believe it's so important. You know, it's not spoken about enough. Sometimes we're not aware of it. Like I said, deception, if it was deception, it wouldn't be obvious, right? Deception, we deceive ourselves. We don't realize what we do. And the only way to overcome that is to have a high level of self-awareness. How do you get a high level of self-awareness? Well, you have to first drop your ego and just say, do you know what? I'm willing to take criticism. I'm willing to be aware of my faults. I'm willing to learn. I'm willing to grow. I'm willing to change more so to be the person that I need to be to achieve the success that I desire. It's that simple. It's not complicated. Stop searching for complicated answers. You'll just get complicated routes to do it. Simplicity at its finest. Most success is actually quite simple when you really think about it. When you study the most successful people in the world, they just do very simple things. It's not hard. It's the consistency and frequency of it. Guys and girls, enjoy your weekend, enjoy your day, your morning. Please share this video with people that you care about, people that you think that are going to get tremendous value from it. Make sure that you're dialed in, you like, you comment, and you subscribe to the channel. Can't wait to catch you in the next episode. Take care, everyone.